finding what are good products and niches to sell in your print-on-demand business is typically the one thing that is going to set apart the shops that are pretty much making no money. They're uploading, but they're just not getting results. And the shops that make sales consistently and grow their business over time to either be full-time, a six-figure business, or just make them a substantial amount of income every single month. Now, I know it's not just as easy as saying, go out and find better niches. There's a lot that goes into it, but honestly, sometimes we just run out of ideas of where to even look to find niches that are going to make sales and not be way too saturated. So in today's video, I'm super excited because I'm going to be sharing with you 7 of the free resources that you can use to find niches. Now, there are tons and tons of paid tools out there to help you research and find products that will sell, and many of those I do utilize in my business, but a lot of times I'm coming back to some of these free methods over and over, and I've got some of my best products that become bestsellers and still make sales every single day from free methods. So if you want some ideas on how to find some fresh new products or fresh niches, I highly recommend watching this video to the end because there's quite a few of them that you probably have never thought to utilize before. So let's not waste any more time and just jump right into it. Now, the first way that you can really get a lot of information about what products are selling really well right now and that you should be adding to your shop is actually by utilizing Printify's product catalog. So many of you who sell on Etsy are partnered with the manufacturing partner Printify, myself included. I love Printify and I use them to sell all of my print-on-demand products on Etsy. But one thing that I do over and over again is I am going to take time to scroll through what are their trending products and what are best sellers right now. It's really easy to get stuck in the rut of just selling your typical t-shirt and sweatshirts, which that can be really great. But a lot of times I get so much information about not only what products are selling right now, but what niches people are buying by the kinds of products that are becoming bestsellers on Printify. And if something is a bestseller, that really gives us a huge clue because that means that people are actually buying this item on Etsy for Printify to actually have made a lot of sales on that item. So I'm going to show you exactly what I would do to find really good niches and products using this free tool. And if you didn't know, Printify is totally free to not only make an account to look at, but to actually use to sell in your print-on-demand business. So if you've never done that before, I'll link them down below. You can create a totally free account there and use them as your manufacturing partner, or just use them to find some really great info about what products you maybe should be selling in your Etsy store or even your other print-on-demand shops. So right now I am logged into my Printify account, and one of the ways that I like to use this is by going over to their catalog and just looking at their catalog home. They're going to give you a bunch of good categories that you can start with finding product types. So a lot of times, one of the places I first like to look is in their new arrivals. Now, this is going to give you a lot of information about their new items so you can kind of get ahead of other people. But one of the most important things is you are going to not just sort it by the latest and newest products, but by popularity. So this is going to tell you what items are selling the best right now on places like Etsy or Shopify. So for example, one of their new items that is not only new and trendy, but also selling really well right now is their vintage looking caps. They're kind of this distressed look. So I can take that information and go to Etsy and look up like a distressed trucker hat or a vintage looking cap and see what types of niches are selling really well on this type of item. But this might be something that I would have never thought to actually add to my shop, but I'd be missing out because it's super popular. Same thing with looking at these infant onesies right here. This might be an item you would have never thought to add to your shop, but items for kids are really trendy, and this shows me that they're actually making a ton of sales right now. So that is a huge clue on items that you could be adding to your shop that are selling really well right now. And again, you can take something like this and look on Etsy for like cute baby onesie and see what some of those best sellers are on the first few pages. But I highly recommend for selling kids apparel is take note of the niches that are already selling well in your own business, and then you can add them just to something like an infant onesie. Now, another place that I love to go is I'm going to go over to their catalog and look at some of the categories that they have highlighted themselves. So for right now, I'm going to look at their summer picks and then filter those by popularity to see what items are selling right now in these kind of summer categories. Now, of course, we have like a t-shirt, which we all pretty much know that t-shirts are probably selling well pretty much all year, but something that I might have not thought to sell was some of these house banners or garden banners. Now, this is going to be a way more particular product type with a ton less competition. So I could do some research about good things to have on garden banners, or I could just see what niches are doing really well right now. Like if you were thinking about events that were happening in the summer, like Pride or even going back to school, those could be really good niches to put on a product like this. And I would have never thought to sell a garden banner if I didn't see that it was trending right now in sales on Printify. Now, there are so many different categories that you can look at on Printify that all have really good ideas. So you could really spend a lot of time just kind of diving into this, but I highly recommend always sort by popularity so you can see what items are actually making the most sales. Now, the next way that I often like to find niches and a lot of times come up with new ideas is by actually just browsing through Amazon. Now, that sounds very elusive. Amazon is a huge place with hundreds of millions of different products, but you can use Amazon search function the smart way to help you actually find print-on-demand products that could sell really, really well. So I'm going to show you exactly how you could utilize this. Now, I have just pulled up Amazon here, and if you just go to kind of the first pages of Amazon, you probably will be just scrolling through tons and tons of information. But one of the ways I like to find good niche ideas is actually just using their search function. So they have the auto fill in the blank function, which is just going to show you what other people are searching for and what are trending searches right now. So something I might look up is think of a niche that I've seen has been selling well, or a hobby type or a career, and look up something like pickleball shirt, and then I'm going to type in for, and then I can see all of this information about what people are actually searching for. So pickleball shirt for men, woman, dad, grandpa, for men, funny. So I could even look up funny pickleball shirt, and then it's going to tell me other searches that are trending. So funny pickleball shirts for couples. So that's a niche idea that really narrows down that very broad search of pickleball, but tells me that people are looking for couple shirts, or that men are looking for dry fit type shirts. So if we think back to the products on Printify, we could look through their dry fit shirts and we could start uploading some of our pickleball designs to dry fit items on our Etsy shop when we might have not even thought to do that before. Now, another thing that I might do is change out the product type. So instead of shirt, I might do mug. So I look up pickleball mug and it's giving me a ton of options. So pickleball legend mug, that tells me that people are looking for that exact phrase on a mug. So you could just make a design with that. The other one is tears of my pickleball opponent's mug. I didn't even know this was a trending phrase, but you could put that on a mug and you would know that that is a trending search right now. And if we want to, we could even click on this and we could see that there are not even that many listings uploaded. So there's 156 results for tears of my pickleball opponent's mug. So this is a really, really fabulous niche that I would have never discovered if I didn't just use the simple search function. Now, another word that sometimes I like to utilize is something like GIFs. So if we want to think about another thing people are passionate about, that is their pets. So maybe we could look at, so I looked up golden doodle gifts. So we have golden doodle gifts for men and women for him, but also mini golden doodle gifts, black golden doodle gifts. So that could be a good one to look at that there might not be that many results for. So again, you can just kind of play around with this. You do have to give it a little bit of information to start. If you just looked up something generic, like just the word shirt, it doesn't give you a ton of info, but if you can get a little bit more specific, you can find some really great trending phrases and niches that don't always have a lot of competition. Now, the next way I really love to use Amazon to find really great product ideas is someplace you might have never heard of before. So there is a place on Amazon called Amazon Handmade. This was made kind of in a response to Etsy taking over a lot of the handmade marketplace. Amazon wanted a piece of that pie, so they made their own version, whether you like it or not. Now, what I really like about browsing through this handmade section is it gives me a lot of ideas of what kind of products that people are looking for gifts, for apparel items. And that can give me a lot of information for creating print-on-demand products, finding new niches that are selling really well right now through Amazon Handmade. So I'm going to show you how to get to this and also how to search through it to find really good product ideas. All right, so I am over on what is called Amazon Handmade, and this isn't a totally separate site on Amazon. It is just their handmade category, but they've kind of made it into their own version of Etsy. Now, if you don't know how to find it, you can just simply search in the Amazon tab, Amazon Handmade, and it's going to take you over here. Now, I really like to use this to get a lot of ideas about things that are trending in that more handmade look niche. So it's it's going to give you a lot of different categories to kind of explore the handmade shop, and tons of them are really good ones to get good intel about what niches are going to sell well in your print on demand shop. So one of the places I like to start a lot of times is going to be clothing and accessories, and this is just going to show you items that are either handmade shirts or print on demand shirts that are selling really, really well right now. So you can just scroll through these and get a lot of ideas about items that people are really looking for in buying. Like for example, this shirt that says "See you in January" in a little onesie. That is a great idea for a baby announcement that I didn't know that this certain phrase was trending. So this is really great information to know. This 4th of July design with a lot of bows, that's kind of girly. That is other great information about what types of aesthetics are selling really well, especially as 4th of July comes. If you know how you can take a holiday and put like a new trendy twist on it, that is going to be a great way to actually make sales. Now, other categories that really can be good is things like gifts for her or gifts for him, or even just best-selling gifts. Now, some of these items aren't necessarily print on demand specific, but some of them are things you definitely could make. Like for example, these personalized cutting boards are selling really well. This is something you could sell as a print on demand seller. And then even this, it's not a print on demand item, but this says happy 10th birthday on it. So that lets us know that 10th birthday items are selling really well. So we could take that information and maybe do some more searches on Etsy or Amazon for 10th birthday gifts, 10th birthday shirts, and take away a lot of intel about niches that we could try out. So I highly recommend just exploring the Amazon handmade section. There is tons and tons to look at. Definitely don't want to get lost, but there are so many ideas here. Now, this next method for finding print on demand niches is the one that I personally use the most. I've used it pretty much since the first year of my print on demand business, and the one that I think is going to really help you guys is utilizing my free cross niching guidebook and free cross niching method. Now, one thing that I found out very quickly in print on demand is so many of the biggest trends and niches are so saturated. So for example, towards the end of the year, Christmas products, they sell like crazy. But if you just make a generic Merry Christmas shirt, you are going to get washed away in just a sea of competition with thousands and thousands of other really similar shirts. But one way that I found that I could really stand out was taking the concept of Christmas, but then crossing it with another really popular niche. So I could make a Christmas shirt for a veterinarian, or a Christmas shirt for someone who loves to play pickleball, or a Christmas shirt for a nana or a grandma. So I take a lot of other popular categories like pets, like careers, like hobbies, like family members' names, and I'm going to combine them with other popular niches, for example, like holidays, and that is going to create a niche that has way less competition. And it's really, really easy to come back to time and time again when you're just racking your brain for new ideas. So I'm going to walk you through how to use this guidebook very, very briefly, but I also have a free about hour-long workshop linked down below that is going to really dive into teaching you how to find niches through this method and really, really show you how you can take the niches you find from concept all the way to design and upload. So highly recommend signing up for that free workshop. I will send all of the information on how to watch to your email, but let's just dive in to how you could use this free resource. So if you haven't signed up for my workshop before, this is the cross niching guidebook that you're going to get. It's quite a few pages of just a bunch of niche ideas. Now, the concept is you are going to take two really, really broad, big, popular categories, and you are going to mix them together to make something that is even more hyper specific. So in this example, the Christmas niche is what we picked from holidays, and then the career we picked was teacher, and then this is the type of design that you could come up with. So for example, we could look at what is coming up in the next few months. So let's scroll through to some other holidays, maybe in August or September. So for example, Oktoberfest would be getting started. So Oktoberfest, that is a great niche, but just way too saturated. So we're going to want to pick some other category, either like a career, a family relationship, or a pet type, a hobby, and cross it with that. So for this one, I think that a Oktoberfest shirt for some kind of dog owner could be a really, really good niche that people want to get. That could be super cute. So what if we did something for like a beagle owner for Oktoberfest? I could picture something really cute with like a beagle wearing some very, very cute Oktoberfest clothing, maybe drinking a beer, and that would be really, really popular with people who own beagles, especially if they're interested in like the fall season or Oktoberfest things. Now, in my full workshop, I'm going to teach you more how you would take these ideas and make them actually into a design to upload, but this is the basic idea. So again, if we wanted to take something else like a hobby, so for example, like photography, we could cross that with something like a family relationship. So maybe there is a grandma who loves photography. So we could take the grandma name like Grammy and make it into a shirt that says something like, to the world, I'm a photographer, but to my favorite people, I'm Grammy. So those are the kind of niches that you'll be coming up with this cross nation guide. Now, if you use it, this can help you come up with over 40,000 different niche ideas with all of the combinations. So this is a great place to go to when you're feeling stuck and just need a little bit of information and inspiration. So again, you're going to get this free if you watch that workshop. You'll get tons more information there, but a lot of times the favorite thing is just getting this guidebook. So highly, highly recommend if you've never signed up before, or if you have signed up before and you just need a refresher, you can always watch it through it again. Now, the next two free resources are a couple that I really, really like. And even if you don't sell on this particular platform, they give you a lot of information about niches that you can take and use on any print-on-demand platform. And the first one is going to be the Redbubble search function. Now, something that I love about Redbubble that a lot of the other sites don't tell us is we can see what searches are trending right now. Now, when you initially look, it's just going to give you a little bit of information, but there are a couple things that you can do to expand this to get tons and tons of more information on what is selling really, really well. So I'm going to show you how to use the search function to find great niches. I did this so much at the beginning of my print-on-demand journey, and I found some of my best sellers, particularly for Redbubble, using this method. Okay, I am over on Redbubble right now, which this is a great print-on-demand site. It sometimes is less profitable than selling on a place like Amazon or Etsy, but I still do really like selling on Redbubble. But what we're going to use it for today is not necessarily Redbubble specific. A lot of these niches that we're going to find, we can use on any print-on-demand platform. So when you click just on the Redbubble search, it's going to immediately give you the top 3 trending searches right now. So this already is going to give us some information about what items or niches that we could be pursuing right now. But typically these are going to have a little bit more competition, and it's not really giving us that many ideas. 3 ideas isn't that great. So what you can do is you can just start going through the entire alphabet and looking at what searches are trending right now. So if I type in A, I can now see that there are the top 3 searches that start with A right here. And we can do the same thing for B. So all of these are the trending searches for B. Same thing with pretty much all of the letters of the alphabet. So a lot of times I like to go through these kind of with a notepad or just my phone notes open, and I am going to take note of any of the niches that I think could be a good idea as I'm just going through the entire alphabet here. And a lot of times I'll find niches that I never ever would have thought of pursuing. And if you end up clicking on any of these, you can see a lot of the designs that are doing really well right now, and if there's a lot of competition. So for example, like this one, there are over 100 pages for this. So this might be something that's a little too saturated, but if you keep clicking on some of these trending searches, you might find some that just have like a few hundred products. So then that could be a really, really good niche to pursue. Now, the next method is kind of taking this same concept, but just putting it in a more streamlined fashion, which is using the site called Bubble Trends. Now, this is a free to use site. There are a bunch of ads on this site, so sometimes that can be a little frustrating and distracting, but I love that it takes a lot of the information about searches that are trending on Redbubble right now, so you can scroll through all of these categories to see if there's anything that really sticks out to you that has a ton of searches but not a ton of competition right now. So I'm going to show you exactly how to get onto Bubble Trends and use that really easily. So besides just using the Redbubble search function on their site, there's another free site that was created to kind of give you more information about the trending searches on Redbubble. And again, this works for finding products on a lot of other sites, not just if you're selling on Redbubble. Now, this is called Bubble Trends, and like I mentioned, it does have a lot of ads on the site. That's how they keep it free, but it can be a little bit annoying. But all you're going to do is just click here that says start for free, and then it is going to list today's trending keywords on Redbubble. So you're going to be able to see which items are really being looked at and that you could potentially capitalize on and make some products to make sales. So it's going to tell you some of the really, really popular keyword searches right now. Now, one of the really cool things about these is if you click on it, it's going to take you to that page on Redbubble so you can see what types of designs are associated with this, because sometimes there's a trending keyword and I don't even know what it's from, something in pop culture that maybe I just missed. So you can see what it's actually talking about here. But you really can just kind of look through these, and sometimes you're going to find some really, really good gems that you would have never thought of before. Like figure skating, I would have had no idea that in the middle of summer this would be trending right now, but it is. So that could be really good information for making your next niche or doing some kind of like cross niche with figure skating and something else. So this is definitely a fun site to look around with and just see what are some trending phrases. Like this one, I would have never thought about this. Never be so polite, you forget your power. That's a great phrase for a t-shirt, and I would have never thought of this on my own unless I had seen it somewhere here. So this is a really fun resource to use, and again, it's totally free. Now, the next method that you can find free niche ideas, free product ideas, is something that not a lot of people think to utilize for the print on demand business, but it is so helpful because it's pretty much taking a database of millions of people's searches to figure out what things are trending right now, what is selling well right now, and that is Google Trends. Now, Google Trends, when you just look at it, it's not going to give you a lot of really specific information that you can utilize in your print on demand business, except for maybe like really big events right now, really big things in social media, in pop culture that are happening. So you can take a lot of information just from their general explore page or their trending page, but there is a way that you can get this even more hyper specific to specifically like apparel items or print on demand items or gifts. So I'm going to show you how you can use that method. All right, so I am over on Google Trends, and if you don't know how to get to the Google Trends website, the easiest way is just going to be to Google Trends. It's going to take you directly to their website. Now, this right now is already showing us some of the rising trends right now. So these are things that people are really talking about right now today and that are taking off and getting more and more searches every single hour. But a lot of times these things are way too broad. So other search queries here that have really gained a lot more interest and are rising are probably going to be a little bit too saturated, but these are sometimes worth looking at as well. The way that I want to show you that you can get even more hyper specific and really useful for print on demand is by adding a search term. So if I add the search term shirt, that is going to tell me a lot more information that I can use for print on demand. So I'm going to search shirt, and then I'm going to change it to just the past 7 days. And then I'm going to look at some of the related queries. So these are all the related searches to shirt. So something like, but this is Indiana shirt, that has had a lot of interest recently. Shirts for really relevant topics right now, those are trending right now. So I'm just going to look through all of those categories, and you can change it from rising to the top results here. And that is going to not always give you as much relevant information. The rising categories are a lot of times the ones you want to look at for finding trending niches, but sometimes the top searches are good to know as well. But you can do the exact same thing here with something like mug, and you can see some trending searches for products people are looking for that are associated with mugs. You can do that with other items too, like a sweatshirt, and see all of these rising searches that are really trending right now. I'm very curious if any of you guys have used any of these methods, or you have any other free methods that you go to that you want to share down in the comments. I know that would be really helpful to a lot of other people, and I'd be very curious to see as well. And make sure, if you haven't ever taken it before, that you sign up for my free cross-niching workshop. I've gotten so much feedback about how helpful it is and how many people love the guidebook that you get just free for attending that short workshop. And if you feel like you have kind of used a lot of these free methods and you're looking for something a little bit more involved that is like a paid tool, I highly recommend watching this video here, where I'm going to walk you through the process of how I take the research tool Merch Informer and use it to create a design that I'm then going to upload on Etsy. Highly recommend watching that video next. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.